Shalom,
Shalom.
shalom, everybody on this Shabbat.
Shalom.
I'm excited
Shalom.
today. Woo!
Welcome
Oh,
back to another Bible study, brothers and sisters. Pretty cold out. I
yes,
hope everybody's staying warm and out of the weather. If you can be, if you gotta be, make sure you're wrapped up and taking care of yourself there. Well, today we're gonna get right on into it. Our Bible study is gonna consist of this one question. Let me ask you: do you have fiery furnace faith? Question mark. We're getting down to the point now where things are getting tight, things are getting to the nitty gritty, laws are changing, things are changing. We're in the end times, and sometimes it's a little bit shaky.
shaky.
So the question is, where's your faith right now? So to set an example, we're going to take you back to the book of Daniel, and we're going to talk about Nebuchadnezzar's golden image versus Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which was Daniel's friends, the Hebrew men. All right. So without further ado, or to not drag it on, let's get into our Bible study. I'm giving everybody a chance to, hey, subscribe if you like, share this video, because someone could be in that valley right now, or like nothing's going my way. What am I going to do? So this biblical depiction of the three Hebrew men could help someone. It could actually help yourself. It could actually help me, because we've heard this story time and time again. Some have read it, but have we really just like close our eyes and put yourself in that time of the three Hebrew men? So let's go ahead and get our Shema in, and then we're going to say our prayer. We're going to dive right in today, all right? Shema Yasharala Ahaya Alahaya Nawa Ahaya Akar. Here O Yashael Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah is one. Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim Kodesh Haya Shemka Ahaya Malakaka Taba'a Ratazawanka Haya Isha Ba Arataza Kawa Haya Ba Shemayim Latunla Nawa Lakam Ka Wayam Wasalak Nawa Chawaf Nawa Kasalak Nawa Chawathya Nawa Wala'a Tawa'ana Nawa Banas Wayam Abal Hawash Nawa Manra Kaya Lakka Ha Malakwa Waha Allah Waha Ta Paraf La Alanyam Aman. And for those, and so be it. And for those who just tuning in, this is the prayer in Hebrew. It's the Lord's Prayer that you can find in Matthew 6, 6 through 9. It's just said in Hebrew. That's all in the original language. So getting back to the Bible study today, coming out of Daniel 3, brothers and sisters, the image of gold. But it takes us back to fiery furnace faith. I call it F to the third degree, or you could call it F3. They all come together during this situation, because you can take out the fiery furnace, but you cannot take out the faith. Basically, we're not in the furnace, but some of our backs is up against the wall every month, every day, every week, every year. And it's just a continuous those body blows, they just come and the enemy just keep right on throwing those fiery darts. So how do you stand in these times? Do you have the faith of the three Hebrew men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Or are you going to fold when the times get going tough, or, quote unquote, the king turns up the furnace 7 times more? What are we going to do? You see? So today, we're going to take another look at fiery furnace faith. What did these men do? Can you imagine? No one's been through that. No one. But them. Put in the furnace and found walking around. Wrap your head around it. Our problems that we have is nowhere near that. Go ahead
I
now.
mean, can you imagine the three Hebrew boys? They walking around in fire now. I mean, we go through
Seven
some
times
things,
harder.
but just actually being put into a furnace with flames and
Mhm.
heat and all of that, that just goes to show you, that we're going to go through some trials because that's the example. We're going to
Mhm.
go through some trials and we need to endure to the end. And
You
we need
got
to
to.
trust. We need to have faith like those of the three Hebrew boys. We need to have that
Yeah.
type of faith.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I know sometimes it can be hard, but the
Yeah.
only way you can have that kind of faith, you have to stay in the word. So let's get right in. And let me go ahead and share the commentary here.
Fiery furnace faith.
Faith. Do you have it? Fiery furnace faith. Do you have it? So we're comparing Nebuchadnezzar's golden image in Daniel 3
Mhm.
versus Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? So can you imagine? I just put up a little image that I can find online there. So every time something was blowed or played, no
Mhm.
matter what you was doing, you had to fall down and worship this image. Wouldn't you say that's aggravating?
Yes.
Can you imagine? I imagine how your week be during the week, right?
Uh-huh.
You're in the office taking care of business. Could be on the phone with a client, or you could be trying to conduct some business,
And then
and
you
all of
got
a sudden you hear this noise,
and then
and
you
you
got
got
to
to stop
stop and fall to your knees
and
and
worship
worship it.
this.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure you'll probably be like the Hebrew, but go on now. Y'all come back later with that. I worship Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll
Anyways,
have some problems.
oh yeah, it'll be some problems. So, fiery furnace faith. Let's get into the story, right? And we're going to read it dramatically. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to turn to Daniel 3.
Daniel 3.
All right. I'm going to click on it. Follow me. I'm going to give you a few minutes. You may be just tuning in and, got to run across the room to get your pen, paper, whatever, or put it up on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. So let's get into the story.
King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide, and set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. He then summoned the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials to come to the dedication of the image he had set up. So the satraps.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. After this short introduction, Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 6 cubits and width was 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon, and the king of Nebuchadnezzar sent word together, everybody, all his administrators, right? He set them all. So now we set the scene. Can you imagine that image that I showed you? Set up plain, which means you could see for a long ways. So this involved a lot of people. And you could see a lot of people in the plain, which means it was flat. All right? So close your eyes and let's listen to this story dramatically. Let's continue. We are in verse 3. Here we go.
Prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges,
Verse 3.
magistrates, and all the other provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And they stood before it. Then the herald loudly proclaimed,
Nations and peoples of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace.
Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, and all kinds of music, all the nations and peoples of every language fell down and worshipped the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. At this time, some astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews. They said to King Nebuchadnezzar,
"May the king live forever. Your Majesty has issued a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music must fall down and worship the image of gold, and that whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown into a blazing furnace. But there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you, your Majesty. They neither serve your gods nor worship the image of gold you have set up."
Furious with rage, Nebuchadnezzar summoned Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So these men were brought before the king, and Nebuchadnezzar said to them,
"Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the image of gold I have set up?"
"Yes, it is true."
"Now, when you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, if you are ready to fall down and worship the image I made, very good.
"Not serve that."
But if you do not worship it, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?"
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him,
"King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If the God we serve is able to deliver us, then he will deliver us from the blazing furnace and from your Majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your Majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up."
Then Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and his attitude toward them changed. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual, and commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and throw them into the blazing furnace. So these men, wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes, were bound and thrown into the blazing furnace. The king's command was so urgent and the furnace so hot that the flames of the fire killed the soldiers who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and these 3 men, firmly tied, fell into the blazing furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors,
"Weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire?"
They replied,
"Certainly, your Majesty."
He said,
"Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods."
Nebuchadnezzar then approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted,
"Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here."
So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire, and the satraps, prefects, governors, and royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their heads singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar said,
"Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and defied the king's command, and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. Therefore, I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces and their houses be turned into piles of rubble. For no other God can save in this way."
Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon.
All right, that ends chapter 3. Now, if you're anything like me, go ahead, Dot.
I'm just so excited. Praise to the Most High.
I'm
Did
trying
you
to tell
see
you.
that?
And I'm sure we have
Woo, yes, Lord.
we've touched on this. Everybody know about this. Well, not everybody, but the majority of people know about the story. But having read it dramatically and touching on it now, can you imagine? Okay, David took down Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing. But to be thrown in a furnace 7 times hotter than normal,
Right.
brothers and sisters, I got the temperatures for you. Multiply them by 7. I got it all down here. You cannot imagine. You put your oven on clean cycle,
Right.
and it cleans between 800 and 1200. That's nothing. So, anything you want to add before
So
we
imagine
move?
that number 7 times.
Wow.
Wow, that's heat. That's
Yeah.
heat right there.
That's a lot.
That's volcanic heat.
Exactly.
Woo!
Nothing touched, nothing scorched, did not even smell like flame. So now let's get back into the facts. All right, as we talk about this fiery furnace faith. So 60 cubits. Now we're talking about the image standing out there that he made. That's 90 foot tall.
9 feet.
6 cubits. It's 9 foot wide, right? Bullet point. So you got an image, 90 foot tall, 9 foot wide.
Oh.
Right. Here we go. Nebuchadnezzar's golden image was a significant event recorded in the book of Daniel of chapter 3. This event highlights the themes of idolatry, faithfulness, and divine deliverance. For sure. King Nebuchadnezzar, the ruler of Babylon, constructed a massive golden statue and commanded all his subjects to worship it, setting the stage for a dramatic demonstration of Yah's power and the faith of his servants. So stop it right there. You got something simple as a bill every 30 days. You fold, you bend, you worry, you full of anxiety. These guys had to worry about a furnace full of fire. Everybody else, hey, they subdued, they did it, boom, drop. But these 3 men said, you know what? I'm not falling down and worshiping a false god. I'm going to plant my feet in the ground and I'm going to stand on this faith. And even if I do get thrown in there, oh well, my soul belongs to Yahuwah. Move forward. Nebuchadnezzar II reigned as king of Babylon from 605 to 552 BC. So we know the numbers was coming down, right? His empire was one of the most powerful in the ancient world. And he was known for his military conquest and his monumental building projects, including the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. So now I do have an image of this. This is what Nebuchadnezzar was made for. He was a builder. He was an architect. He was a military mastermind, right? And you going against him, right? The construction of the golden image is believed to have occurred during the early part of his reign, following his conquest of Jerusalem and the exile of what? The Israelite people. Okay? So now, let me give you a little image of some of the stuff that King Nebuchadnezzar, the things that he used to build. Look at that. Brothers and sisters. Looks like something that you'll see right now, that a luxurious hotel. And this was the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. He built this. This is the kind of stuff that he built to go along with the golden image. So now, let's take anything you want to add before we get into the decree.
Power. Yeah, so much power and authority over the people that when he said do something, they was like, "Ooh, they better do it." I mean, just think. I mean, they did whatever he told them to do.
I'll tell you, man, this right here. But having that fiery furnace faith, that F3 or F to the third power, whatever you want to call it, let me tell you something. Can you imagine? And then to look in that flame. See, when we go through things these days, we might not can see Yahusha. But can you imagine being in that flame and looking over there and seeing an image, seeing Yahushua, but he ain't came yet. Because this was before Christ. Wondering who that is, but in your spirit, man, you know who that is. Wrap your brain around that, brothers and sisters. Ain't that something?
Yes.
Let's move forward. Now let's take a look at the decree. All right, remember, because when the flute, the harp, the this, the that, boom, no matter what you were doing,
Yeah, you have to bow down.
yeah, stop and bow down to this image. You could be a whole mile away.
And see, back then, decrees were considered like a law.
Right.
It was a law.
Yeah, it was a law.
You know, you had to do it. You were breaking the law. If you broke the law, they didn't just throw you in jail. They cut your head off,
Right.
hang you, and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
you know, it's almost like when an officer asks you for your ID.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a big thing if you don't give it to them.
Right.
I mean, they have a natural born fit when you say you're not going to identify yourself.
Yeah, they might take you to the ground,
Yeah.
knock you,
You see?
chain you up,
See, it's almost
throw
like
you in the back of the truck,
that's right.
in the car, and
A
take you off to
decree.
jail just because you refuse. So
That's right.
You know, back then a degree was like a law.
Yeah. So let's take a look at it, brothers and sisters. Nebuchadnezzar. This is what he issued: a decree that at the sound of various instruments, all peoples, all nations and languages were to fall down and worship that golden image that he put out there in the plain of Dura in Babylon. The penalty for disobedience was severe. Anyone who refused to worship the image would be immediately cast into a burning furnace.
So
Now let's read it.
Okay.
Let's read it out of the cipher. Daniel chapter 3.
They will die.
Yeah. Verse 4 and 6.
It says, then a herald cried out loud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, the dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king set up.
Ain't that something? Go ahead, read 6.
And whosoever falls not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Wow.
So now this was the penalty for disobedience. So AKA you could say death.
It was a death penalty.
It was a death penalty,
yeah,
right? Now, who were, in the third section here, who was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? So let's pause and take another little pause here, and then we're going to get back to the commentary on who these 3 Hebrew boys were. Here we go.
What if I told you that 3 young men defied the most powerful king in the world and walked into a blazing furnace without fear? What if I told you that their story holds secrets of faith, courage, and divine intervention that many have never heard before? This isn't just another Bible story. It's a powerful testament of unshakable faith in the face of death. Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking details behind the fiery trial of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And if you love deep, biblical truths presented in an engaging way, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful story like this one. The story of the 3 Hebrew boys didn't begin in the fiery furnace. It began in tragedy when Jerusalem fell to the mighty Babylonian Empire. King Nebuchadnezzar ordered his army to besiege the city, destroying everything in their path. But rather than killing everyone, he commanded his officials to take the best and brightest young men, those from royal and noble families, to serve in his palace. Among those taken were Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, 3 young men who were faithful to the Most High God. They were dragged from their homeland, forced into a foreign culture, and stripped of everything familiar. But their biggest battle wasn't just survival, it was the fight for their identity. As soon as they arrived in Babylon, they were given new names: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
This wasn't just a casual renaming, it was a psychological attack. Their original Hebrew names honored Yahweh, the God of Israel. But their new names were tied to Babylonian gods, an attempt to erase their faith and allegiance. Not only that, but they were required to learn the language, customs, and beliefs of their captors. For 3 years, they would be trained in Babylonian wisdom, eating from the king's table and preparing to serve in his court. But this presented a major problem. The food they were given was dedicated to false gods. Right away, they had a choice: compromise or stand firm. Along with their friend Daniel, they made a bold decision. They refused to eat the king's food and instead requested a simple diet of vegetables and water. Many don't realize how risky this was. In Babylon, defying the king's orders often meant death. But God gave them favor, and after 10 days, they looked healthier and stronger than anyone else. Their obedience set the foundation for what was to come. Even though they had been taken from their homeland, they had not been taken from God. Their faith remained unshaken. And soon, that faith would be tested in a way that would shake the entire kingdom of Babylon. Years passed, and Nebuchadnezzar's power grew to unimaginable heights. His empire stretched across nations, and his influence was unmatched. But with great power came great pride. The king wanted more than just control, he wanted worship. One day, he ordered the construction of a massive golden statue, 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide. To put that into perspective, that's as tall as a modern 9-story building, completely covered in gold. This wasn't just a symbol of wealth, it was a declaration of dominance. The statue was placed on the plain of Dura, an open area where it could be seen from miles away. Then came the king's decree. At the sound of the music, every person in the kingdom must bow and worship the golden image. Anyone who refuses will be thrown into a blazing furnace. This was not a suggestion, it was a command backed by the threat of death. Imagine the moment. The music began to play. Harps, lyres, flutes, and every kind of instrument filled the air. As soon as the first notes rang out, thousands upon thousands of people fell to their knees, their faces to the ground, submitting to the king's command. But among the sea of worshippers, 3 men remained standing. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow. They didn't hesitate. They didn't negotiate. They stood tall while everyone around them submitted. Their decision wasn't just an act of defiance against Nebuchadnezzar. It was an act of loyalty to the one true God. This wasn't just about worship. Babylon's gods represented power, control, and compromise. Bowing meant accepting Babylon's rule over their hearts. But they remembered the commandment given to their ancestors. You shall have no other gods before me. No matter the cost, they would obey. However, their stand didn't go unnoticed. Some Chaldeans, likely jealous of their favor in the kingdom, quickly reported them to the king. "O king, did you not command that all must bow to your image?" But these Jews refused to obey you. Nebuchadnezzar was furious. How could anyone dare to defy him? How could these 3 captives from a conquered nation stand against his decree? With rage burning in his eyes, he summoned them immediately. They would now stand before the most powerful man in the world, and their answer would determine their fate. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were dragged before King Nebuchadnezzar, their fate hanging in the balance. The king's face twisted in fury as he glared at them. "Is it true?" he demanded. "You refuse to worship my golden image? I will give you one more chance. When the music plays, bow down, and this will all be forgotten. But if you refuse, you will be thrown into the fiery furnace. And what God will be able to rescue you then?" The threat was real. The furnace was no empty warning. It was a brutal execution chamber where the king burned anyone who defied him. The heat alone was enough to kill. But despite the terror,
So now hearing that, this wasn't Nebuchadnezzar's first time. This was like the death chamber.
Mhm.
This is how
Yeah.
he got rid of people that
They didn't obey him.
defied
They
him.
defied him. They didn't obey him. Yeah.
Oh my.
He just threw them into the fire.
Oh man.
It's over.
The normal people, they'll put it at that normal degree,
Mhm.
but for these three, 7 times. We're gonna stop it here in a minute, but listen up just a little bit longer.
terrifying reality before them, the three men did not waver. Without hesitation, they answered, "O king, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. Our God is able to deliver us from the fiery furnace, and he will rescue us from your hand. But even if he does not, we will never serve your gods or worship your golden image." Their words stunned the room. They didn't just declare faith in God's power, they declared faith in his will. Whether they were saved or not, their devotion would not change. This was the kind of faith that shook the foundations of empires. Nebuchadnezzar's face twisted with rage. How dare they challenge him in front of his court? His pride would not allow defiance. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. The very air around it became unbearable, waves of heat distorting the ground. Then he commanded his strongest soldiers to bind the 3 men. There would be no escape, no negotiations, no last-minute pleas. They would be thrown into the fire. As they were led to the furnace, the heat.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it here because I think we all get it now.
Mhm. There was brave men. Praise the Most High.
So this is who they were.
Mhm.
No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. And no, I'm not doing that. So then do what you gotta do. So can you imagine Nebuchadnezzar got this chip on his shoulder and everybody's standing looking like,
What?
okay, what you
Okay,
gonna do,
what you gonna
King?
do, King? Yeah, that's how they was looking.
Wow. I'm just saying, I mean, I know this story is like being taught everywhere. You can find it, it's very popular.
Mhm.
But if you really take a minute and think it through.
Think about it, seriousness of it. Because now is the time that I believe that the Most High is drawing a line in the sand.
Yep.
And you either gonna be for him or you're gonna be against him. And so you gotta make up your mind if you're gonna live and die for Yahuwah. You're gonna live or die. So it's a line being drawn in the sand. So you have to make a choice. It's no in between. There's no, middle ground. It's either or. So now is the time for you. Now is the time, like the Word of God says. Now is the time of salvation. You go ahead and make your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You choose to serve the Most High.
That's right.
So you have to make that choice.
And brothers and sisters, that perfect example is this. Even though you in the flames,
mm-hmm. You can be delivered.
Yahushua is there with you.
Mm-hmm. He's there with you.
Right?
And you can be set free. You can be delivered. You can be rescued in the flames.
I'm telling you.
No matter if the heat is turned up 7 times. No matter.
Even though. And you know what? We, Sister Nabi and I, have to remind ourselves of that often.
Often we do.
Because
we be at the edge of something. You know how I get right there at the edge and it be like, whew, what are we gonna do? But then we remember. It's just like it just comes right back to us, and it's like clockwork. It happens all the time. We remember the Most High took us through this before.
That's right.
And he allowed this
brought us through.
He brought us through.
Right.
And so he took us through, and we came out like we find gold. So hey, I know that he's able. He's willing. It is his good pleasure to bless us, to keep us from falling. It is his will. He wants to do it for us. It's just we just have to have the faith to believe and trust and wait on him.
That's right. Wait on Yahuwah.
Wait on Yahuwah.
That's the best thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, think about this story.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not in a furnace, but we can take a situation like, you know what? I can have that kind of faith because I haven't been through that. So I know if Yahusha and the Ruach HaKodesh has been there for them, he certainly will be there for me.
Right.
So this is a perfect example for someone. I don't know who's supposed to hear this, but I do know why. Because just like Sister Nabi just said, that line, guess what? If you don't draw it, Yahuwah gonna draw it for you. So which Elohim are you gonna serve? Big E or little E? There is no in between. You gotta make your choice. All right, so now let's go back to the commentary because we're not gonna make this long because it's pretty simple. Fiery furnace faith. Do you have it? That's the question. Do you have it now before things turn up a notch? You see? So now, bullet point. The first time we read about these three young Hebrew men, we met King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon who besieged Jerusalem. He immediately started to take notice of the people living in the new territory, right? Daniel 1, verse 3 and 4. Let's read.
And the king spoke unto Aspenaz, the master of the eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Yasharel and of the king's seed and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldean.
All right, so you know what that tells me? The Hebrews were a little different from the Chaldeans, from what he was normally looking at. They was in better shape, their skin, and believe it or not, they were intelligent. They were nobody's dummy. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, along with Daniel, were selected as meeting the criteria. They were the absolute cream of the crop in Jerusalem at that time. The king took these young men under his wing, gave them food and drink from his own table, and trained them in the way of the Babylonians. Daniel 1, verses 4 and 5. Let's read.
It says, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, in whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldean.
All right.
Okay. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he had drank. So nourished them 3 years, that all the end thereof they might stand before the king.
All right. So now, can you imagine? What do you think they did? Pork. Maybe they tossed it to the side or tossed it under the table, but I'm sure they didn't eat it. I'm sure they didn't offend until one day someone took notice and said, okay, probably said, well, why do you not eat that? The king is doing so and so and so. Why I tell you what, give me vegetables and you give them that, and let's see who come out on top. Who's going to be in the better shape? Right? So people took notice of these three young Hebrew men, right? They were very full of wisdom. You see, they were like the cream of the crop. Then Daniel, they were quick to understand and very knowledgeable of things. So the king took notice of this. So now let's move forward here. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were eventually appointed administrators over the province of Babylon. Now, having said that, can you imagine a corner over here of the Chaldeans probably saying to themselves, well, how they be in captivity now and they get the job over me? So sure, when someone saw them out there in the plain of Dura, not standing, that was the first thing they did, quick to run and tell, right? So now, it didn't take long for these young men to be tested. Of course not. Nebuchadnezzar set up the idol and commanded everyone to bow down to it. The dire consequence of not obeying this command was that the violator would immediately be thrown into the blazing furnace.
Mm-hmm.
The time had come for these young men to choose who they were going to obey. It's exactly what Sister Nabia just said.
Mm-hmm.
King Nebuchadnezzar
Mm-hmm.
or the one true Elohim, Yahuwah.
So
One of the two.
right.
Are you going to obey the word, brothers and sisters? Or are you going to obey Yahuwah? Are you going to bow down and continue to worship the beast and its system and the things that it brings, aka which is the world, or are you going to stand on the facts? Are you going to come out of idolatry?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to stop practicing witchcraft knowingly and unknowingly? Are you going to stop eating these foods that you know you're not supposed to be eating as written in Leviticus 23? Are you going to stop it? Or are you going to continue to compromise and bow down to the image? Now, just like that consequence was death
Mm-hmm.
via fire, so is the wages of sin.
There'll be a
Go
fire.
ahead.
Because it's
Same fire.
The same fire.
Go
It's
ahead,
just
Sister
called
Nabia.
hell's fire.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's brimstone
That's right.
and sulfur. It's still fire.
That's more than 7 times.
Yeah. It's still
Let's
fire.
get into some more facts then. We're going to the choice.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the choice that they made. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow to the golden image. When questioned as to why they had failed to comply to the king's order, they replied, Daniel 3:16 and 18. What did they say now?
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful. We are not careful to answer you in this matter. If it be so, our Yah, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning furnace fire, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not,
right,
let it be known unto you, O king, that we will not serve your Elohim, nor worship the golden image which you have set up."
We ain't doing it.
Ain't doing it.
We're not doing it. So can you imagine a furious Nebuchadnezzar?
Let it be known.
That's right. Everybody looking at it now. What you gonna do, king? They probably like this.
Ooh, they scared. I can imagine. They probably was like, ooh. And then the king was so embarrassed because he's the king, and then his pride was built up, puffed up. And then these 3 Hebrew boys said, "What they not gonna do?" He said, "Oh, turn it up 7 times."
Can you imagine? It's just like you can pretty much understand like a boss at your job, you know, and here it is. I thought I told him not to clock out so and so. Didn't I tell him that he got one more time to be late, he or she? Oh, okay, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. All right, then he taking me for a joke. So what I'm gonna do is fire him. He won't have a job. You see? So can you imagine thousands of people watching the king at this time? So now he got to step it up and do something. So now the question is, brothers and sisters, where's your faith when these things hit you at this point in time in your life? Can we take Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego as an example to be like, oh, okay. You get a phone call in the morning or something happened. You get a phone call late at night or something comes to your doorstep, whatever it may be. You can sit back and say, okay, I'm not in the furnace. I'm not in the furnace. So this is nothing for the Most High to move on my behalf. All I got to do is log in to the kingdom and have a discussion. Of course, he already know because he omnipotent, omnipresent. He already know the was and what's going to be and what is.
You know, I just want to say something. I think what happens to people, because we are so weak, all of us have sinned and come short of Yah's, glory. I think the most important thing is for us to know what to do in a situation like this is when we draw near to the Most High and we develop a relationship with Him, we start learning how he do things, like his characteristics and his contributions or whatever. So when we begin to learn these things and understand how he is and how he operates, we're developing a relationship. So as you develop that relationship, getting to know him, you have a heart after him like David had. You kind of learn the way, the Most High ain't standing for that. Oh no, he would never approve of something like that. You just would know how he is.
That's right.
Just like he tell us that you would know them by the fruit. As you examine a human person, you would know them by the fruit that they bear. So it's the same thing with the Most High. As you draw near to him, you begin to develop a relationship that you would know him by the fruit that he bear through the years. All the times he's been there for you, he's always protected you, he's shielded you, never seen the righteous forsaken or the seed begging for bread. You know, he's always made a way where there seems to be no way. He's always protected you and shielded you and hid you in that secret place under his wings of protection. He's always provided for you, you know.
Since day one.
So you go back to reflect back to this. And so now you've developed this relationship real strong because you done draw near to him. He said, you draw near to me, I'll draw near to you. And when you begin to do that, you begin to get less fearful of what can happen. Because if you be thinking in your mind, if y'all be for me, who can be against me? And then he tell you, don't try to save your life because you'll lose your life. So you live and you die. That's just what it is for Yahuwah, because he is sovereign. And no matter if you leave this place, you're going to live again. This is just temporal.
Forever.
You know, you're going to live again for eternity. So it does not, you should not be trying to worry about this temporal life. You want the eternal life. You want to be in that millennium reign too for 1,000 years.
You do.
So, you know, think about that.
Well,
whenever you're going through something, this is not unto death.
That's
You always need to keep that mindset that I belong to the royal family of Yahuwah. I belong, Yahusha. I'm right there, seated in heavenly places with them. So therefore, who can come against the Most High? If y'all be for you, who can come against you? So therefore, he's there for you every step of the way. And recently here, I've been really, really kind of getting a more deeper understanding. As you draw near, you get a deeper revelation of who he really is, his contributes. You know, you begin to understand, oh, he's full of wisdom, full of grace, full of love, full of mercy, but he's also a Yah of wrath. And every now and then his wrath builds up. And just like anything, you can push a person so much today, the anger will come out, you know, because they've been fed up. And that's how it was. That's why those Israelites went into captivity. The anger of the Most High had gotten fed up. He had enough. So they had to go into captivity. Yeah, because just like a child has to be punished, go into punishment for what they have done, that when their parents tell them not to do this, they have to be taught a lesson. So
can I ask you a question, having said that? The state of where the world is right now, and the idolatry and the sins and the things that's going on right now, what do you think we at with the wrath? Do you think the mercy, or do you think it's going to be some wrath with that mercy?
I think we're at the time now of that judgment. I mean, he's given us so much mercy that
we've had plenty of that.
We've had that, and there's different eras. I believe there was the era where, you know, there was reconciliation. There was an era where there was, you know, deliverance and salvation, and then there was an era where there was, you know, judgment. There was mercy, you know, and then now here it is. We're at judgment.
Well, you know, in the book of Daniel, it says, you see, that close up that book to the end. The truth is getting out, brothers and sisters, all over the place. I mean, there's so much truth out there now. A lot of deception still. But there's some people that's teaching the truth.
Now, and I noticed, and I don't get offended anymore. When I look, I thought about that. So, Lord, you got us ministering out here. You know, that's what I was thinking. And I was
Go ahead and tell it.
You know, you got us out here ministering, you know, and I noticed that it's so many ministries and it's so many other things. It's not so important, but they get a whole lot of
talking about nothing.
Nothing. And they get a whole lot of views, you know. I mean, it'd be 10,000, 20,000 million views and all of this. And I'd be sitting back and I would say, you know, we don't even get that many views.
Nope.
So then the Most High started reminding me. He began to remind me. He said, although I've called many,
come on,
I've chosen only a few. And just because you don't get a lot of views and a lot of likes and all of that doesn't mean, he says you're separated, you're set apart. Because this ministry is a ministry that was created by the Most High.
Yeah.
We're not asking for no money.
Nope.
You don't have to support the ministry. We don't care if you support it or not. We just getting the word out according to the leading of the Ruach HaKodesh. And the word is truth and it stands.
As you can see, there's no PayPal down there.
There's nothing.
There's no at so and so. There's no Cash App. There's no nothing.
You give if you want to, and if you don't, hey,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Because the Most High is providing for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not the mega churches that you got to give so much money and we build a big buildings and all of this other stuff. No, we're waiting on the Most High. However he decides to do his ministry. We're just vessels being used to get the word out. And although he called many, maybe there's just a few that need to hear this. Just a few. It ain't for the whole, the multitude that the broad is the way that leads to destruction and narrow is the path. It could be just for the narrow path ones.
Because, could be for those 50 that we get.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And so therefore, he taught me a lesson. Don't worry about those numbers. Don't worry about it. There have been times when people thought that they were going to go to war, and he narrowed it down. They said, it's so many of them against us that they thought that they needed 200,000 men. And the Most High said, no, you don't.
Just 300.
Just 300. Just a few.
We need to bring that story back.
So he let us know, don't worry about those numbers you see. Don't even look at that. Don't even pay that no mind, because I was concerned. I was honestly concerned. I kept saying, we have your minister, we get, 50 views, 80 views, 8,400, just a little. And I'm like, wow, what is going on? But I realized the Most High, he's allowing it to be that way because those that's supposed to hear will hear Shema. And they may be just a small few.
A little bit of
remnant. A small remnant.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is why we're not going to stop. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You know what? We'll sit down, record this, and guess what? I'll watch it for myself.
Yeah.
So I know 2 people going to watch it. We're going to record it, and then we're going to watch it back. So at least we're going to get 2 views every week. Ourselves. You see?
Don't worry about that, because the Most High is orchestrating the ministry. See, what people fail to realize, they think that they are the orchestrating the ministry. So they go out and all they think about is being seen, getting so many views, buying them, all kind of stuff to get with, because they think they're the ones. But no, it's the work of the Ruach HaKodesh. This is the Most High's ministry. Glory Light belongs to the Most High, not to Greg and Scotty or to Sister Nabia and Elder Safa. No, it belongs to the Most High. This is his ministry. It's his work. And however he chooses, that's what it's going to be.
And I think Nabia said enough on that one. So that's a touchy situation, and I let her have the floor.
All praise.
As the guy said. I let her have the floor. So here we go. All right. So now back to Nebuchadnezzar and the 3 Hebrew men. We're gonna wrap this up. A few more precepts, and we're gonna wrap this up with the faith, our faith. So now, Nebuchadnezzar, furious. A furious Nebuchadnezzar immediately ordered the 3 Hebrew men to be thrown into the fire furnace, and as an added measure of faith, for it to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Daniel 3 and verse 20.
And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
So basically, these boys, big old boys, you ain't finna get away. The king wanted to make a public example of how a disobedience would be dealt with under his reign. So now, check this out. did a little bit of research on the temperature. So as we clean our oven, it's between 800 and 1200 degrees. So now listen to this. The average temperature of an ancient furnace in the biblical context of Daniel 3 is not explicitly stated, but it is described as being 7 times hotter than usual, which suggests extreme heat. Archaeological findings indicate that ancient furnaces typically reach temperatures around 1,000 to 1,200 degrees Celsius. All right, which is 1832 to 2192 degrees Fahrenheit. All right. So now that's more than what your oven can clean. So now, if multiplied by 7, the estimated temperature could reach up to 8,400 degrees Celsius, or what? Because the United States used Fahrenheit, 15,112 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to repeat that. 15,112 degrees Fahrenheit, highlighting the intense heat of the furnace during the biblical story. So now, that's going to melt everything. Matter of fact, it killed the 3 gods that brought them in there, turned them into ash. So can you imagine? 15,112 degrees Fahrenheit was the furnace. So now, wrapping it up, what should we learn from the account of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? What can we learn here? Right? Here's the bullet point. And we're going to bring this thing home. For their refusal to obey the king's decree to bow down to the idol, 3 charges were brought against them. Number 1, they paid no heed to the king and his commands. Number 2, they did not serve the king's gods, little g. And number 3, they refused to worship the golden statue the king himself had set up. So these 3 charges was brought against them. They didn't serve the king's God, they didn't take heed to his command, and they refused to worship the golden statue. Bullet point. We cannot be astonished by their faith in the one true Elohim. Their response in the moment of the trial confirmed these 3 things, brothers and sisters. Number 1, their unswerving conviction of the Yah of the Bible, aka Yahuwah. Number 2, their confidence in Yahuwah, who is who he says he is and will do what he says he will do. Let me repeat that one, because this is what you got to stand your faith on right now, today, brothers and sisters. Your confidence in Yahuwah, who is who he says he is and will do what he said he will do. So what he said what he will do is right here. You got to read it and believe it. Number 3, their faith as revealed by their reliance upon the only one had the power to deliver them from evil. The only. I'm a living testimony to that. One and only. I know about that. Number 4, the acknowledgement of Yahuwah over the world's most powerful king resulted in Yah's supreme power being revealed to unbelievers. Yeah, well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come on out of there. Oh my goodness, you know what? Forget about this decree. Whatever the God that you serve, everybody else gonna serve them too, because ain't no way.
Ain't no way.
No way.
Ain't no way. You know how they say, ain't no way, bro.
Yeah. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way.
Ain't no way.
15,112 degrees Fahrenheit furnace, and you walk up out of there? Oh boy, let me stop this foolishness. I am made to be a believer now. Right? Number 5, their faith demonstrates that Yahuwah is able to deliver us from our own problems and trials. So it's nothing. You're going through something, it's nothing. Believe who he is, and believe he is and we'll do what he say he gonna do.
Mhm.
That's it.
That's it.
And
Trust
then
him
go sit down. That's all.
and believe.
And believe.
Have faith.
Have faith. So now here we go. Yahushua said this in Matthew 10 and 28. Read.
And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in Gehenna.
You see? So forget about man. Nebuchadnezzar, go sit down, bro. We ain't thinking about what you talking about. Because you only going to kill this body in the flame. But if I disobey my creator,
Mhm.
woo, I'm going through that eternal flame.
And
You see?
Gehenna is figurative. It's figurative to the place of everlasting punishment, which is
You see?
hell.
That's right. Even if Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had to suffer a horrible, painful death in the burning oven, they refused to abandon Yahuwah and worship an idol.
We're gonna do it.
The chief lesson from the story of the three Hebrew men is that as believers, listen up, we will never be able to bring the world to Yahushua by becoming like it. I'm going to repeat that. We will never be able to bring the world to Christ, to Yahushua the Mashiach, by becoming like it. You have to be an example, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Mhm.
How are you going to witness to someone? One, if you never went through nothing. Two, if you don't have self-control of yourself. And three, if you don't have fiery furnace faith.
Mhm.
Brothers and sisters, this message for somebody in conclusion.
Mhm.
In conclusion, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the fire furnace, the king expected to see a quick and painful death for those three young men. But he was stunned to see them walking around in the furnace unharmed, and someone else was in the furnace with them. Daniel 3 and 25. Let's read.
He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the son of Elohim.
Now, brothers and sisters, who you think that was? The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. They big brother was right there.
Mhm.
You know, before they were pushed into there, the angels, Christ, Yahushua, was already standing at the door.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, before the coals and the flames were ignited, Christ was already in there.
Yeah, he already foreknew.
You see? So let's take this as an example. Let's finish up. The king immediately recognized the supernatural nature of the miracle before him.
Mhm.
He called the three Hebrew men out of the furnace, praised Yahuwah, and honored them, declaring what? Daniel 3 and 29.
He said to them, he said, therefore I make a decree. This what Nebuchadnezzar said.
Come on.
Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, tongue, which speak anything amiss against the Elohim of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces,
Whoa.
and their houses shall be made of dunghill, because there is no other Elohim that can deliver after this sort.
All right. Perfect example. Let's go back to this part of the commentary.
Mhm.
Let's go back up here. What? We will never be able to bring the world to Yahushua by becoming like it. Now, because of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, can you imagine? Not only the king, but everybody that followed the king was standing there looking like this. What? Whoa, Nebuchadnezzar, you're just a man.
Mhm.
Whoever was in that flame with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I worship him.
So look how many they demonstrated so much faith that
You
look
see?
at all those people got saved. They got saved.
Because they were not like the world.
Not like the world.
So, brothers and sisters, ain't that the kind of story you want to leave here with? How many souls did you help save? How many souls did you bring to Yahusha through your example? Let's finish up.
You want to get your crown.
That's right.
You get your crown when you get to that place. You get your crown.
Right.
But think about it. You still get promoted here on earth. Think about the next verse. It says, I'm just going to read the next verse.
Go ahead.
30. Here in Daniel's 3:30, it says, then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babel.
So whatever happens in heaven
So
happens on earth, right? So they got their crown. They're going to be some that's kings and crowns and fortresses and mansions, and some may be servants. So which one were you or are you going to be? This is one powerful story. And I thank the Ruach HaKodesh for helping us to break it down today. Not like a little kiddie story, but in a way that everybody can understand. So now, let's wrap up the last little part of the conclusion. Right?
Bible study.
That's right. Yahuwah. I'm going to say that once again. Yahuwah was responsible for the supernatural protection. Get down there, son. Where I'm going, don't worry about it. When you almost get to you'll know. Get down there. Yahuwah, Yahuwah, was responsible for the supernatural protection of the Hebrew men. This story should stir up hope in the believer's heart. For we know that Yahuwah is with us even through our trials. Trials may be unavoidable in this life, but we have a risen Messiah who has to be promised to be with us. Yahusha, the one who was with the three men in the furnace, promised us this. Matthew 28:20. Come on.
And fear not them which kill the body. Which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in Gehenna.
Figuratively and literally. Brothers and sisters, you have a choice. What Elohim are you going to serve? Are you going to draw your own line, or are you going to have your line drawn for you? Are you going to have fiery furnace faith and be like, get thee behind me, Satan. Today, I'm not answering that. Or no, sister so-and-so or brother so-and-so, you know what? I ain't going to let you upset me today. Because I know through my anger, I could do this and that. You know what? I'm gonna not drink no wine today. Hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on a fast. And I'm going to cut out this strong drink. Hey, you know what? I'm going to try not to have no pork this week. Whatever it may be, whatever trial, whatever you dealing with, bills. Oh, I get so tired of living from check to check. Draw that line. And get on one side or the other. I suggest you get on Yahuwah's side, because that's the winning side. You can't go wrong, and you will not lose. Just as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Fiery furnace face. Take it away, sister.
Yes. Oh, Father Yahuwah, we thank you for this word. We thank you for the word being delivered. We thank you, Father, that you've given us your Ruach HaKodesh, for it is not ye that speaketh, but the Ruach of the Father which speaks in us.
Yes.
So, Father, we thank you that you have mandated us to go forth and give your word to your people, that they may draw near to you, so that you may draw near to them, that they may have understanding, Father.
Yes.
And for your word declares, in all you're getting, get understanding, so that they may know who you are, and they may understand how you do things, Father. That you love, you have mercy, you have grace, you even have wrath and judgment. And Father, you will be with them, even in the end, to the end. You will never leave them nor forsake them. Even if they go through the fiery furnace, but you will send help along the way, that you're able to deliver them and free them from anything, Father. They just need to have the faith no matter if they're going through the furnace and the fire. They need faith in you, Father.
Yes.
So I'm asking that you would increase thy faith, Father, in the people so that they will know that you are able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that you can ask or think. Father, I ask that you would set them all free. Draw them to you as they draw near unto you, Father, that they will know who you are, that you are the great I am, and there's no other. In the mighty name of Yahushua, I pray. Amen.
Amen, and so be it. Brothers and sisters, I encourage you to like, share, drive up the algorithm for the first time. Somebody out there battling faith and you don't know where to draw the line, or you may not understand on what side should I be standing on. Read this story, tune into this Bible study, and pray about it. And it'll all come to you. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to say the water for tuning in and shalom. We'll see you next week.